Hello everyone, it is Jayden and welcome to The Alpha, the show where we talk about the hottest topics in pop culture and sports. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button on the video, and if you enjoy my commentary and myself truly as always, be sure to tap that subscribe button and to hit that notification bell to get notified when all my videos go live. I love you guys so much. Peace, love, and positivity always, y'all. See ya. There was a lot of drama surrounding the draft, specifically with players such as Ace Baily and Colin Murray Boyles, okay? Ace Baily and Colin Murray Boyles are two players that I did not even know existed in college basketball. And it's something I want to bring up later on about the NBA and how it just differs from the draft. And we're going to get to that later. But Ace Baily, a player who is regarded by the NBA media space as the most athletic player in the draft and gifted and is a day one starter. Okay. But Ace Baily didn't work out for any NBA team. Not one single team. Going into the draft, it was noted that he didn't want to get drafted by the Hornets or the Utah Jazz, but he was drafted by the Utah Jazz. And you could see it in his face that he wasn't happy. And he looked like he didn't want to be there. And there were stories about his camp, not worried about missing out on $10, $15 million just to not get drafted by those places. But it was reported that he wanted to go to teams like the Wizards. And there was another team. I cannot quite remember. I want to say it was... I can't. It was the Wizards and somebody else, but it wasn't a good team. I was sitting there like, why would you want to go to Washington instead of the Utah Jazz or the Hornets? I'd rather go to the Hornets or Utah Jazz than the Wizards. The Washington Wizards are one of arguably the worst franchise in the NBA. But I digress. But there was another story that came out today as well from an article from Forbes. Ace Baily did not fly with his fellow first-round pick Walter Clayton to Utah after being drafted. Baily is expected to show up Monday in Salt Lake. If he doesn't show, Baily could be holding out from his new team. People in the NBA media and the draft coverage was giving the Utah Jazz credit for drafting a guy who did not want to be there. But what's going on with this player entitlement? And Paul George talked about it. Like, y'all have not done anything. This is my problem with the NBA. Because these stars and these kids have seen the LeBron Jameses and the KDs and James Hardens and Kyrie. They've seen the way that the dynamic of where when you're in the NBA, you're able to, you got more of a power and a chokehold on a franchise, unlike not like the NFL, like NFL players do. It don't matter if you're Tom Brady or anybody. You have the likelihood. I wouldn't say Tom Brady. Let's just use a decent player. Let's use Tua Tagovailoa, or just use Tua. It doesn't matter if Tua is going to hold out for more money. With his injuries and with his likelihood, there's a likelihood he's getting his walking papers. It's just a matter of fact that NBA players have more power than what NFL players do. And this is another kid in the draft, Colin Murray Boyles. He got drafted by, I want to say it was the Toronto Raptors. I cannot even remember. But the dude was literally shaking his head and said the F word when he got drafted. And everybody was looking at him and he was like, dude, this kid did not want to go to the Raptors. And I'm sitting here like, I have never, and on top of that, you had the horrible draft coverage by ESPN, a lot of name mispronunciation going on. And I was sitting here like, what is going on during this broadcast? It's the big three things that we're going to talk about. Number one being the player entitlement when it comes to Ace Baily and Colin Murray Boyles, of players thinking that they have the power and to say so already to run stuff. And it starts with the NIL stuff in college. That's a reason why. But something else, well, let's not forget this, in the horrible media coverage. Malika Andrews at ESPN, at one point, I think it was Cedric Coward, the player who he was supposed to be going to Duke, but I think he went to UNLV, University of Las Vegas. University of Las Vegas. I don't even know. But she called him Colin Cowherd. And then just the amount of people who you could just tell they wasn't educated on the draft whatsoever. Stephen A., I know he's not very educated on the draft. Kendrick Perkins. It was just bad. Horrible, horrible watch. And this is my other thing that I want to talk about. It eats me up. And I don't understand it. Because I experienced it watching the draft. Because I wanted to really just get the gist of what... I didn't really watch the NBA draft for a long time. I only watched the draft last year because I wanted to see Bronny get drafted. But I was just sitting there. Can we not get the hat situation fixed and the proposed trades? So Malawak got drafted by the Houston Rockets, technically. But I knew he couldn't have because Kevin Durant got traded and they traded away their first round pick to Phoenix. And in the graphic that they used for the draft, it said proposed, it had Rockets with the pick, and on the very top, very small, it said proposed trade to Phoenix. But me, I was confused. My brain isn't calculating like that at that time of the night. And I was sitting there like, oh, okay. Malawak got drafted, and me and my dad was having a conversation, and I was like, dang, Dad, Malawak on the Rockets with KD, Fred VanVleet, Şengün can now play the 4. Amen Thompson, they are going to be stacked. Wrong-o. He's actually going to Phoenix. I realized that after the fact. I get on my phone in Bleacher Report, and I get a notification because I follow the Hornets on there, and Mark Williams got traded to Phoenix, and then I got the news, Mark Williams and Malawak's going to be the new number 1 and 2 combo in Phoenix. I'm sitting there like, what? But the kid had on a Rockets hat when he got drafted. And it's the same thing with the other kid that got drafted by the Hornets. I didn't even know he was going to the Hornets. He had on a Phoenix Suns hat. NBA, Adam Silver, why can't we just go ahead and put the graphic on the screen like the NFL does? Say, hey, Houston's now, the Phoenix Suns now have this pick. Put it in big bold like you do all the other draft picks when they're making a pick, and then just put it right there on the top and just say, they got this, they traded up and it's now their pick and they got it from the Houston Rockets. It is so bad. And I know I'm comparing this to the NFL draft because the NFL draft is so superior than the NBA draft in just so many facets. But I just don't understand why. Like, it's just one little thing that can make the product and watchability of the draft 100 times better. Because it is so confusing for an average fan that's probably sitting there like, oh, yeah, Malawak's going to the Rockets. Cool. And then later on, does he find out, oh, shoot, he's actually going to the Phoenix Suns. I don't understand it. The other night, Wednesday night, watching the draft was atrocious. With the hats, with the player entitlement stuff, kids not wanting to go somewhere, and that on top of the bad media coverage, it just shows why the draft is a joke in general, like I've said in the past on numerous occasions, about the fact that it's not like the NFL draft where you know a lot of the players because the NFL does a good job just having separate draft coverage and draft analysts to be able to analyze the prospects to the public, get their names out, and look forward to some names for your big team because for the first round, those guys can help make or shape your franchise. In comparison to the NBA draft, you'll be good for the third overall pick to even do anything. And I know I'm going to pick on him now, but look at RJ Barrett, third overall pick in a 2019 draft. Has relatively done nothing his whole career. He had one little okay year with the Knicks, but ever since he's left the Knicks and went to the Raptors, you've not heard of his name since. That's the difference between the NFL and the NBA draft. And kids in the NFL draft, they don't got to say so where they don't. I'm not going to get drafted here. We saw what happened with Shador. And then on top of that, the media coverage for the draft especially this last draft, was absolutely sensational. But ESPN, it was a rough watch. That whole night was a rough watch. It's bad enough you really know none of the players. I knew none of the players except for my Duke guys and a couple of guys here and there. But we got to do better with this draft coverage. Get actual NBA draft analysts in there to educate the audience beforehand. Maybe even switch up the time of the draft because having it right after the NBA season's over, it may be smart, but still, I mean, you're not thinking about the upcoming draft prospects during the NBA finals. And that's another topic on another day where they need to just decrease the length of the playoffs and the games in the regular season period. But that's another topic on another day. But altogether, what did you guys think of the NBA draft? I thought it was absolutely atrocious all night. Just a lot of crap going on. It's not structured really well. I just didn't enjoy it. Let me know what you guys thought. I want to know all of your comments down below.